Hello and welcome back. We are going to continue where we left off in the last screencast. But before we do that, we need to add something to our machine. So if you go to your browser, go to your search engine and type in Heroku CLI. The CLI stands for Command Line Interface, and hit return. And then select that first link that comes up. Once you're there, we are going to find a quick tutorial on how to install the Heroku command line interface. And the purpose of the command line interface from Heroku is going to help us to deploy our application to the World Wide Web so that our friends and anybody else we want to share our site with would be able to see it. Okay, so depending on your machine, just select which one. If you're on a Mac, brew install Heroku brew blah blah blah. You just copy that and paste it into your terminal. Okay, and then let's go back. If you're on Windows, you just select any of this. You might be on a 64-bit or 32-bit. Ubuntu, it's one of these. So all you need is just one of these to install the Heroku command line interface. And once you have done that, once you have installed your command line interface, let's just go back and continue from where we left off. Remember, we had already pushed our entire project to GitHub. So the next thing we're going to do is create a few pages, connect our routes, and then deploy to push again to GitHub and then deploy to Heroku. Right? So go to guides.rubyonrails.org and then click on getting started. This is where we were, and we'd gone through step 1, 2, 3. We did all of this. If you haven't, you have to go through it. We did this Rails new blog. We will get into our blog, and then this is where they just talk about the files, all those files that you saw in Rails. This is where you can go to read a little more about them. Okay. Of particular interest right now is going to be the gem file. We are going to go into the gem file and prepare it so that it will be ready for us to deploy to Heroku. So let's start with that. Let me just exit out of this, and then I'm going to get the gem file again. Vim, and I should get a gem file full of comments. What I like to do is I usually like to remove these comments, but we're not going to do that right now. Here's what we're going to do. We just need to go down here and put in a new group. It's gonna be called production. So just follow what I am typing in, do, and then end, and then we are going to add a gem called Postgres PG. So PG. And all these are libraries. These are Ruby libraries. In Ruby, we call them gems. Okay, so we've added the Postgres SQL. This is the database that Heroku uses. Okay, next we want to remove this SQLite and move it down to the development and test group. So just take it out of, get it out of there. However you do it, copy it out, but it should not be there. So with Vim is just quick. I just hit DD, and then that copies it. Then I'll move down here to the development and test group, and then I'll paste it in there, and I'll just line it up with the other one. Okay. After that, you're going to run bundle install. I have a shortcut for bundle install, but if you don't have this set up, I assume you don't, just go into your terminal here and just run bundle install. Let me just show you. So bundle install. Okay, so our gems have been installed. The next thing we want to do is create some pages. We're going to create a controller and add pages to it. The pages we're going to create are home, about, and contact. So the way we create those pages is Rails G for generate, controller, pages, and then we name the pages. So our controller is going to be called pages, and then the pages are going to be home, about, and contact. Then you hit return. Okay, so let's stop here and then go back to this project here. Remember I said we won't follow this exactly the way it is. It's just a guideline. You are welcome to follow it exactly as it is. That's totally fine. Okay, but just to show you where we are in case you are here, this is what we just did. We just generated the controller. This one is called welcome, but ours is called pages. And this only has one page called index. Ours has 3 pages. It has the home, the about, and the contact page. Okay, so we're here, and then now we're going to go back into the terminal, and then actually we're done with the terminal. What we want to do is use the text editor that you like, your favorite text editor, and then open up the config. So in the config folder there is a routes file. So open up your routes file. If you're in Vim, you can open it up like the way I did. But if you're using a text editor, a different text editor, you're gonna get to it in a different way. Okay. For example, let's say you're in Sublime. I'm just gonna fire up Sublime. I don't use it much, but I just want to show you what I'm talking about. SUBL. So Sublime Text. So here's the project in Sublime Text. So let's say you're using Sublime Text. You want to go to this folder here, config, and then you open up your route. Okay, so this is the same thing. I'm gonna close this down because I'm not using that. I'm using Vim instead. So back to Vim, and then what we want to do is add a new route. It's a root route. So we say root to pages, home. Okay, and then we're gonna remove the one that right below that home page. What this does is it gives us a root file, a root for our home page, meaning when we go to localhost 3000, it will land us straight onto our home page. Remember that the Rails default home page is now gone. Now we just have our home page. The next thing we want to do is to deploy this to Heroku. But before we do that, we need to make some commits, push them to GitHub, and then finally push this to Heroku. So we type in git add dot git commit -m, and then we type in a commit message, short and to the point. I'm just going to type in create new pages controller. Okay, and then I'll push this to GitHub first. Once it's pushed to GitHub, I'm gonna run a command to push it to Heroku. But before we do that, we want to create the app. So assuming you took the steps that I asked you to do in installing the Heroku command line interface, you should have this set up already in such a way that you should be able to type in Heroku create, and that would create an application for you, and it will give you a name that's kind of hard to remember. So I prefer to just give it a name right away, and mine is going to be code blog. Blog, 522. Let me call it 533. Okay, that's just a name. You don't have to do this, but I'm just doing it because it's easier for me to just type that in later on when I'm sharing my URL. Okay, so hit return, and this will create a blog for us. Then the next thing we do is type in git push Heroku master. Okay, let's see what our push just got rejected. Let's see what is going on here. Rejected. Integrate the remote. Update your read because the tip of your. Oh, okay. I had pushed this earlier on, so you are not going to have the issue that I'm having. But I know what I need to do. I'm just gonna force it. There we go. The -F will just force it, and you want to be careful with this. You don't need to do this. I'm doing this because I know that I had pushed something and it wasn't ready yet. So this is just for my end. For you, exclude the -F. Okay, so this will push our application, and then when it's done, we're just going to open it up by typing in Heroku open. Okay, and this will open your application in the browser just like that. Okay, there you go. So there's our application. It's live on the web, and we're going to be working on it and making it better. In the meantime, that's the URL you can share with yours is going to be different from mine. Heroku will never let you, will not let the same applications with one application with the same name like this one. Mine is blog 522. Okay, so if yours got rejected, just try another name or just push it without the name. All right, so that's it for this tutorial. I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.